afternoon or evening, ladies and gentlemen. How is everybody doing today? I hope this video finds you well, guys. I hope you had an easy time with yesterday's assignment, with yesterday's lesson. If you struggled, if you had a hard time, please go ahead and reach out to me and I will make sure that I answer any questions you might have. Today, what I want to review is the Check for Learning from Monday's lesson. We went over the packet. We've gone over that packet in pretty decent depth. But I want to make sure that you guys are clear as to kind of the importance of the Monroe Doctrine, the Cumberland Road, and the Erie Canal, and really how those contributed to nationalism. That's kind of the main idea I want you guys to kind of take away. One of the main ideas I want you to take away from that lesson. And I want you to kind of see how that impacted that sense of nationalism. So that's what we're going to go over today, which is why the title of this review lesson is Growing Nationalism and Sectionalism Review 2. Just so you are aware, my office hours today are from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. So if you have any questions about the Check for Learning from Monday, or if you have any questions about the lesson yesterday, please reach out to me during those times and I will get back to you as quickly as I can. So before we take and go over that Check for Learning, what I want to do is I want to make sure I mention some reminders for you guys. So the first one, watch the teacher video. That's the one I'm recording. So as long as you're hearing my voice, you're all set. You've done the first one. I want you to make sure that you have watched the teacher lesson video on the Google Slides from yesterday, April 22nd. And I want you to make sure you have completed the Check for Learning on the slides from yesterday, April 22nd also. If you complete those and you get the questions in the Check for Learning correct, you will get a 3 on this. So please don't waste your opportunity to get 100 on this lesson. It's a pretty easy lesson, guys. You should have no problem doing it. Again, if you are lost or confused and you need some help, feel free to email me during my office hours and I will try to guide you as to the direction of where you should go or where you can kind of find the answer and stuff like that. So feel free to email me if you want to make sure that you get a 3, but you're lost or confused. If you complete the Check for Learning and you look at the slides, you will earn a 2 on this lesson. So that is still good, but if you're shooting for the 3 and you're not sure on anything, make sure you reach out to me. Make sure you email me. Alrighty, so that covers if you have any questions. So what I wanted to do today and what I wanted to talk about for a few minutes today is I wanted to go ahead and I wanted to talk about the Check for Learning real quick. So I wanted to take a look at I wanted to go ahead and take a look at the Check for Learning and take a look at the couple of questions that were on that Check for Learning. So what is the definition of nationalism was the first question I asked you guys. That one was pretty straightforward. All you had to do was basically copy the definition from the textbook or from your key terms and you were all set. So the textbook definition is, just as a reminder, it is a feeling of pride and loyalty in a nation. So that was straight, like I said, that was straight from the textbook. That was the definition. If you had that or something like that, that basically meant the same thing, having pride in a nation or pride in your nation, however you might have worded it, you received full credit. So as long as it sounded the same, you were all set. Now, the second question, I had you guys thinking a little bit more. You needed to think of the answer and base it on what you've learned a little bit more. So the question says, how did the Monroe Doctrine, the Cumberland Road, and the Erie Canal help to strengthen this feeling of nationalism that existed during the era of good feelings? So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and take a look at a few really good answers from you guys. These basically summarize the main idea of what I was looking for and stuff like that. As long as it was kind of close to these, that was what I was going for. I'll basically take and tell you exactly what I was looking for, guys, when we finish going through these. But these were a few of the best answers that I found going over this. So the first answer I have comes from Andy Peets, and it says they helped improve the U.S. trade and strengthen security. This gave people more pride for the nation. Exactly. So the Cumberland Road and the Erie Canal strengthened the economy and it improved trade. And the Monroe Doctrine strengthened security. So that's what each individual one did. The next answer that I have comes from Haley Lajam. And she said they helped grow America and strengthen trade, economy, and protection, which made people more confident in the nation. Exactly. That hits it spot on. That is a one sentence explanation of exactly how those three things strengthened the feeling of nationalism and kind of created this feeling of nationalism. So that was perfect. The third one I have comes from Molly Levac. And it says the Monroe Doctrine showed the independence of America. The Cumberland Road was the first road built by the government, and it helped the economy. The Erie Canal helped trading and settlement. Yes, and the Erie Canal was really big, and a really big part of the economy, which helped to strengthen kind of that devotion and that pride to the United States, along with the Monroe Doctrine and its independence of America and its sense of security. Exactly. Very good. And the last one comes from Megan Fernstein. It says the Monroe Doctrine showed how independent America was. The Cumberland Road was the first road built by the federal government. That is pretty big, and it helped the economy. The Erie Canal helped by bringing two sections of the country together, and it also improved trade. So as long as basically, guys, you mentioned the economy and you talked about how the Erie Canal and the Cumberland Road helped to strengthen the economy and increase trade, and the Monroe Doctrine increased the sense of security that the United States had, you hit it square on the head, and that was what I was looking for, and that's what I was going for when I asked you how the Monroe Doctrine, the Cumberland Road, and the Erie Canal strengthened this feeling of nationalism. That is exactly how it did it. So, with that said, great job, guys. For the most part, you guys hit it on the head. You had a really easy time with that question of nationalism. You had a little bit of a harder time with how the Monroe Doctrine, the Cumberland Road, and the Erie Canal strengthened nationalism. But overall, I think you guys did a pretty good job. I did send that back to you. I did make some comments to you guys so you can see where your answer could have been improved, some details you might have left out that would have been important. So I made sure I did that. I made sure I went over that, guys, so you had a good sense of what you can fix and how you could have improved that answer a little bit. So that's what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to make sure that I did. So as a reminder, just because it says for your score, when I emailed back to you your scores, just because it says a 0 out of 0 does not mean that you got no credit for it. What I want you to focus on is I want you to focus on the comments that I left you. I should be posting in the next couple days or the next few days your grades for Monday's lesson, Wednesday's lesson, and then eventually Friday's lesson. So make sure you don't worry about the score that I gave you guys for that particular Google form. That's not important. What I want you to focus on is the comments that I left you guys. That's what's going to help you more. One last thing before we take and call it a day. On Monday during my office hours, I am going to create a Zoom meeting so that if you guys have any questions, you can hop into that Zoom meeting and ask me whatever questions you have rather than email me for that day. If you would like to pop in and just say hi, I'd love to see you guys. I'd love to be able to talk to you. Or if you have any questions, feel free to pop in and ask those questions during my office hours. If you have any questions about that, guys, feel free to let me know. I will make sure that I create an announcement and let you guys know some of the steps, or if you need any, like the password or anything like that, I will make sure that I create an announcement so you can see that and so you can access it. I hope to see you guys there, but if you are all set or you don't feel like joining that Zoom, that's okay too, guys. Just as a reminder, one more time, my office hours today are from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. So if you have any questions, please let me know. With that said, I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you tomorrow for the lesson that we are going to have tomorrow. Have a great day, guys.